I want you never to forget this number, 2.1. This is a number that weighs in significance way greater than any other number today at this point in human history. It is a number in which every single Western society is scrambling to achieve. It is a number that every single developed nation on this planet are struggling to reach. Now, what is this number? What is the significance at this number? Now, this number, 2.1, is our replacement number. What do I mean by that? It is a number that every society on this planet, the average woman needs to give birth to at least 2.1 children if this human population doesn't want to go extinct. Many nations today aren't achieving this figure. Many nations are in panic. When you look, for example, countries like Jamaica, the average woman is giving birth only to 1.3 child. Europe, the average is 1.4. China, it is 1.02. And Japan, only 1.2. Can this trend be reversed? Now, to answer this question, we need to look deeper into those countries who continues to populate beyond or at least at the replacement figure at 2.1. For example, Middle Eastern countries. These women continues, the average woman in these countries continues to give birth to at least 3.1. In other words, the average woman in Middle Eastern countries are giving birth to 3.1 children. In Africa, it's 3.8. In Israel, it's 3.85. And in Haiti, at least 2.7. Now, what is the difference between these countries that continues to populate beyond or at least at replacement level to those countries who are way beneath, those countries which are seriously speaking threatened to be extinct? Ladies and gentlemen, I am saying that countries like Jamaica, countries like America and Europe, they are threatened to go extinct. By extinct, I mean threatened to be totally erased from the planet. Now, to understand the difference, it's very important for us to go back to understand the evolution of marriage. Why women got married in the first place. By first place, I mean what drove those women, the first set of women to have gotten married, what drove them into matrimony. Now, initially, the first wars being fought weren't over lands or gold or wealth. Those wars were fought over women. The first set of women taken into marriage were bounties in wars. So marriage emerged as an institution created by man to secure and control female sexuality. Ever wonder why long-term relationships and marriage appears like an oppression to women? Why? It's because this is a social imposition and not a biological urge. I'm not saying that women do not have a propensity for long-term commitment. Women involve, of course, a need for pair bonding or long-term relationship, but this primarily was due to their need to have economic support to rear children, especially in those early years where they need that support, run about 0 to 8 years old. And many experts say that is the reason why most marriage ends within first 5 to 8 years. Now, marriage evolved over time, And we have seen societies using social pressures as a way of forcing women into marriage. Now, what do I mean by social pressure? Pressures are all those values, those norms that says to a woman this is how you should behave, and they shame women when they deviate from these accepted norms. In many cases as well, strict sanction were imposed on women who deviated from this norm. Again, economic dependence was another tool used to force women, or encourage women rather, into long-term commitment or marriage. No, not before today. The average woman in any era before, and of course every woman since the dawn of time, worked, but not until today. Women, what they could earn was never enough for women to be able to survive on their own. So they needed some kind of economic partnership with men. Now, what happened when you remove all these external pressures that force women into lifelong partnership with men? We are seeing in these developed societies, women are independent. The government are doing what the male partner would have been doing hundreds of years ago. The corporate world are doing through a paycheck what men 100 years ago would have been contributing to women through collaborative partnership. So there's no more economic dependence. Look at Western liberal societies. There's no more social pressure. In fact, women are allowed to behave sexually same as men. There's no shaming for casual sex or casual encounters. Look in the Middle Eastern societies, for example. It's illegal in many Middle Eastern societies for women to engage in casual sex or sex outside of marriage. Look, for example, Africa. The economic pressure that many of these women are facing forces them to form a lifelong partnership with men. Likewise, in Haiti, Israel, of course, is a very wealthy, developed society, and its women are having children way beyond the replacement figure of 2.5. This is because the vast majority of Israel society continues to be Jewish, which is itself a form of social pressure. Now, of course, what we are left with in this society is what is called female choice. Now, yes, women are wired to form relationship with men for two reasons mainly. One, economic support, and two, genetic fitness. Genetic fitness is represented in the sign or in the form of an attractive male. Few men fit that description or fit the level of attractiveness that meets a woman's taste. So a few women, of course, will find men that meet that aesthetic taste. But the vast majority, following on the line of female choice, leads the population to mass singlelessness. We have a lot of women in many of these populations not involved in any kind of long-term partnership, not involved in any kind of marriage or desirous of it. Why? Because the pressures that historically forces a woman into marriage and long-term partnership with a man is no longer there. So again, the question is, can we replace it? I'm afraid we may not be able to replace it. To change the present scenario. Now, what do we do if we can't change the present situation? Shall we just sit by and watch the human population goes to extinction? That's a question I believe every one of us should take very, very, very seriously. Because at this point, I do not have the answers.